Next on All Access.
I need this today. I need this ball.
Good breakup on the pitch.
I should have picked it.
Joining me now is Patriots offensive lineman Joe Thuney.
We take pride in running the ball, and we want to encourage, that, and it just takes a group effort. Tight ends, wide receivers, play with great effort. That's the main thing.
This is a $10,000 buy-in event. Players, thanks for your support all season long on the World Poker Tour.
Poker's a really fascinating game. It demands so much of you.
COVID. We're talking COVID again.
I think the mood is maybe cautiously optimistic overall.
Yeah, and I would say, to sum it up, we're rolling with it.
Yeah.
Like whatever comes our way, we'll deal with it.
After an unexpected week off full of questions and concerns, the Patriots are back at work with the hope to play on. Hello and welcome to Patriots All Access presented by GEICO. I'm Steve Burton. We all believe trying to play football in a global pandemic would prove to be a challenge, and it is. The Patriots' Week 5 contest with the Broncos was postponed last Sunday and is scheduled to be played this Sunday instead. Dan Roach tries to catch us up on an ever-changing situation here in Foxborough.
We're literally taking this, I wouldn't even say day by day, it's more hour by hour.
The head coach was prophetic last week when talking about NFL pandemic life.
Just stay ready, whether that's mentally, physically, just being able to control what we can control. That's all we can do. Follow the protocols to the best of our abilities and, just try to make the most of every single day, whether that's in the facility or outside. Just do what we can to prepare for Denver when we play them.
Bill Belichick continues to put player health and safety as his top priority, something the players appreciate.
I think the main thing that you want to see from your coach is that, you're not just a player, you're a human being. When you have a person who tests positive on the team and it doesn't matter who it is, and he just says, okay, we're finna shut the whole thing down, that shows that he cares about you as a person and not just about the wins and losses.
And even though the Patriots have had players such as Cam Newton and Stephon Gilmore test positive for the coronavirus, it doesn't mean they're not a part of this tight-knit group of players.
The thing with virtual meetings is everybody's able to be on the virtual meetings. Everybody's able to crack jokes and laugh, and then the same thing through our text messages and different things like that. So we've been able to, we haven't cast off anyone that's tested positive and kind of kicked them off the island. Like they've still been with us and been able to hang out as much as we've all been able to hang out by looking at a computer screen.
Meanwhile, the Patriots got a much-needed boost when Cam Newton was activated from the reserve COVID-19 list Wednesday. He returned to the practice field Thursday.
He's a very vocal guy. He likes to have fun out there. So, it kind of brings back that mood, like that fun kind of mood out there. So it's been good.
Brings a ton of energy, and when y'all leave, I'd say he even turns it up a notch for all of us. And a lot of energy, it's fun to play with.
And while most of the talk swirling around the Patriots is about COVID, safety protocols, and health, these players continue to ready as best they can for the Denver Broncos.
Just controlling what we can control. And, the coaches have relayed that every single day, every time we've met. Just understanding we got to be locked in, we got to be keyed in because we have a game to play. And the guys understand that for sure. We've been getting after it in our meetings whenever we can, and making sure we're in the right mindset to play this game.
One sure sign that this is a Bill Belichick coach team is the phrases they continue to use while talking about this NFL pandemic life. You hear, it is what it is, do your job, control what you can control, and hour by hour. For Patriots All Access, I'm Dan Roach.
All right, Dan Roach, thank you very much for joining me now. It's Paul Perillo and Mike Reese in our Bob's Discount Furniture Studios. Top of the show, beginning of the show. That means we're talking COVID again. COVID
I was going to say, it means we're talking football?
No, we're talking COVID again. So let me ask you this. What do you think the mood of the team is right now? If you had to put your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, it's a little different. I would say, it's been different being around the facility over the last week without practices going on, without the players here, the activity, even in and out of the players' parking lot. Not that we have a lot of interaction. As a matter of fact, this year we've had none, Steve, so we're not really allowed to be in that area. But I think the mood is maybe cautiously optimistic overall.
Yeah, and I would say, to sum it up, we're rolling with it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever comes our way, we'll deal with it. And Bill Belichick has used, like, day-to-day over the years. This year, it's hour to hour. And I think they've all embraced the idea that we just have to accept whatever comes our way because of the unpredictability of it all.
Talk about changes in the way the rule changes. And do you think going forward, the way the league is handling this has a lot to do with how the Patriots and what the Patriots had to go through?
Yeah, I actually do. And I think even going back the week prior with the whole situation with Tennessee playing Minnesota. And, all of the guys that ended up ultimately testing positive in the aftermath of that. And then right on top of that, piggybacking, the Patriots are presented with a similar situation and then decided to push the game back a day. I think they felt that might help things. You get another day, but, as you sort of get a little bit more information, you talk about these incubation periods and whatnot. Yes, I do think the Patriots situation, Steve, caused the league to sort of rethink that. They made an alteration that was probably a good one.
And we heard Jason McCourty. He was very strong in his comments last weekend about, hey, if you can let the NFL and the NFL Players Association know about the incubation period, like this is what we're talking about. And that's really, to me, the big rule change is they are now respecting, if you will, the incubation period, and that any close contact of someone that tested positive is now going to have to be isolated for 5 days. And to simplify that, for what that means, that means Stephon Gilmore would not have played against the Chiefs if these rules were in place prior.
So now with the rules in place, do we expect to see Cam Newton against Denver? Do we expect to see Stephon Gilmore play against Denver?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and you wonder, does this end up working out in favor of both teams? Because I think there were a lot of injured players in Denver, I think, that might have a chance to play in this game as well. I do think, Steve, that we'll see Cam Newton. I think that sort of the sign, all the signs kind of pointed that he was going to be sort of a possibility if they played last week. I think Gilmore's a little bit tougher to call. I think he's a little bit closer to that period, and and then you get into, were they asymptomatic, if they're testing positive still after 10 days. I think there's a lot of sort of red tape to go through, but I think Newton's got a chance.
And that's because time is on their side now. 10 days is the key marker, just to simplify it.
That's how it works.
After 10 days, Steve, you can still be test positive and play because of the way the rules and the CDC, words it out for everyone. So I think there's a really good chance we'll see Cam. Like Paul said, Stephon Gilmore, not so sure.
So this game should be played on Sunday against Denver. But, and here's the but, what happens if someone else tests positive?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all starting to learn what happens when people test positive midweek or, over the weekend even. In this past case, you have to adjust, just like Mike said right at the top. And I think that's what the Patriots are trying to do, is learn to adjust on the fly and react accordingly. And I do think if you get another positive, I think now you're looking at the contacts and things like that. And again, I'm not going to put a Bill Belichick here, but I'm not the expert on the coronavirus, just like he's not. And I think that they would try to play the game. I think right now, Mike, they want to put their heads down, plow through, and get through as much of the schedule as they can.
I think they're going to play if there's another positive. The question would be, how many players would they have to play the game? Right. Because, I'm going to go back to that Chiefs game. With the rules the way they are now, they would have played that game, and they might have had 40 players instead of the 48 that they could have had on game day, because if you have a high total of close contacts, the league can look at that and say, look, that's as much on you as anything else.
All right, guys, so don't go far, because obviously we have another section with you two. We'll be back with more Patriots All Access right after this. Stay with us.
Coming up on All Access,
we'll chat with versatile offensive lineman Joe Thuney.
You know how football goes. People go down and you have to shuffle people around, and we've got a couple guys playing different positions. So it's just part of the game,
And later, find out what the newest member of the Patriots Hall of Fame enjoys as a hobby.
I was just watching the guys around me. It was a really intense moment. And I said, you know what? I enjoy this.
You're watching Patriots All Access.
Patriots All Access is brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of the New England Patriots. By Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel, 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke. And by Putnam Investments. Putnam Investments and the New England Patriots, proud partners committed to an active game plan on the field and off.
I'm Lauren Spencer with your Week 6 Patriots Social Media Minute. Much like the rest of 2020, the past few weeks haven't exactly gone as planned. And while the decision to postpone last week's game was certainly for the best, there's no doubt we're missing Patriots football. N'Keal Harry's dog is all of us. One of the latest trends to hit social media was the how it started versus how it ended meme. And former Patriots linebacker Willie McGinnis joined in on the fun. For Willie, he started out as the Patriots' first-round draft pick in the 1994 draft, in the first draft pick under Robert Kraft's ownership. Flash forward to how it ended: 3 Super Bowl championships, 2 Pro Bowl appearances, and induction to the Patriots Hall of Fame. With just 3 weeks left till Election Day on November 3rd, Adam Butler took to Instagram to speak on the importance of voting and what exercising the right to vote means to him.
I came to realize that me not voting is really a slap in the face to the African American men and women who fought and put their lives on the line.
That's all for this week's Patriots Social Media Minute. I'm Lauren Spencer.
Go, man. Make plays. How you feel? Feel good?
Yeah, feel good.
I need this today. I need this ball. I need it. Start, let's go. Let's pass.
Come on, Steph. Let's go.
Hey, go. I got 83.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Great job. Nice job. Great job, Steph. Let's go, D. Good break up on the pitch.
And that pass dangerously is incomplete. Taps it with the left hand and almost secures it with the right.
I thought you were about to
Stop picking it.
I thought you were
Bounced up
going to
twice.
Yeah.
I should have picked it.
You just need to play good and finish this game out.
Backs up in the end zone. Carr's in trouble. It's going to be a safety. The Patriots collapse the quarterback. Derek Carr is sacked with Dietrich Wise Jr. coming away with the football.
Touchdown. Touchdown. Fumble.
Welcome back to Patriots All Access, everyone. Joining me now is Patriots offensive lineman Joe Thuney. Joe, it's good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Good to see you too. Not too bad. How are you?
Good. First of all, right out of the gate, how are you doing with all this? I mean, I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in your personal life. There's a lot going on in your life. There's a lot going on with this football team. How in the heck is Joe Thuney doing?
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. Just kind of taking it day by day, even hour by hour, just trying to see things unfold and react to them. And, it's such a new year, new situation, new season. So just trying to make the most of it and, just approach it the best way possible.
Let's talk about this offensive line and the role that you've played, because it's a good thing that when I look up your name in the dictionary, it says versatile right next to it. You're able to play a multitude of different positions. How are you handling that? Obviously pretty well.
Yeah, it's you know how football goes. People go down, and you have to shuffle people around, and we've got a couple guys playing different positions. So it's just part of the game. You know, the more you can do, the better for the team, and just want to be out there wherever I can, and playing with the team. So center's going all right. Just doing what I can.
I know you played offensive line all your life, but did you play much center in growing up?
A little bit when I got to college at NC State, my first 2 years there, but after that, not too much. But throughout my career here, I always take snaps, in practice just in case, as a, extreme backup. But they came in handy, I guess. So it helped.
Came in handy in a big way. How is David Andrews helping you? Obviously, you guys are best of friends, right?
Yeah, he's great to bounce ideas off of, see what he thinks about certain situations or certain plays or how he approaches things. So just a great resource to have. He, wealth of information, playing the position so long and so well. So really glad that he's been there and super helpful.
Take us inside that offensive line room, because obviously there's a lot of pride in that room. You guys have done a remarkable job, and to see this run game go the way it is functioning, it's pretty impressive.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been going well. Just there's always things that we want to improve on and work on. As we look back over the film each week, and but we take pride in running the ball, and we want to encourage that, and it just takes a group effort. Tight ends, wide receivers, running backs running hard. So just try and do what we can and play with great effort. That's the main thing.
Let me ask you this: is it different blocking for a running quarterback or a quarterback that runs as opposed to a quarterback that just stands in the pocket and throws? Now that you have Cam Newton.
I think the fundamentals remain, regarding pass or run blocking, and you just try and execute the technique that you've been taught so much, and try and do it at your highest ability with highest effort. So that's kind of the mindset that we approach with, and I think that's been consistent.
How do you like the Bill Belichick concept when he talks about no matter what happens, no excuses?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's football, you gotta, do what you can, and just try and contribute to the team. But yeah, it's just how it is.
Hey Joe, it's football in 2020. That's what it is.
yeah, that's true.
Hey, good luck this Sunday against Denver.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Good talking to you.
You too, my friend.
Thanks.
Joe Thuney, our guest. We'll be back with more Patriots All Access right after this. Welcome back to Patriots All Access. Time to sit down and talk with the coach now, and Coach Belichick joins me. Coach, how you feeling?
Feeling good, Scott. How about you?
I feel great. What was one of the first things that you learned about this whole process that, as you sit here 5 weeks into it, looking back, did one thing surprise you, or did one thing teach you something that stuck out?
I'd say I've really been impressed with the way that everybody's just handled the situation, from the players to the coaching staff to all the support people that work in the facility. It's been a real a feeling and a great deal of cooperation from all parties involved, from all the things that we normally do, from training to practice to meetings to food service to video to treatment of injuries to wiping down equipment. And so forth. It's just, it's a very, very long list, but the cooperation and the willingness for everybody to, jump in and do it. We've actually, done it with fewer people than even what we normally have on staff. So it's not like there's an army of people to jump in there and do all those tasks. It's really, everybody's kind of taken a little bit more on their shoulders and just chipped in and done more where they've had to, and in order to try to cut down our numbers and our overall exposure. So I'd say that's really been the biggest thing for me, has been the amount of cooperation and willingness of everyone to get involved, jump in and do extra.
In general, how is your team feeling? And that's not through injuries, that's just able to function in this new environment that we've created?
Yeah, well, it's different for all of us, and I think we're all trying to adjust to it the best that we can, and it's, the cards have been dealt, so we have to play the hand. There's nothing we can do other than make the best of our opportunities and make the best of our situation individually and collectively as a team. So that's what we're trying to focus on, and we know we don't have the power to wave a wand and change things or make things the way they were or make them differently than what they are. So we just have to adjust to what we have, and I think everybody's trying to do that. 2020
is a lot of firsts, and you've had so many meetings, so many virtual meetings. Was there ever a time during one of those meetings where you thought, boy, maybe we could take this virtual meeting outside? Did that ever happen?
Well, we actually did that last Saturday when the team came in. We had a meeting out on the bleachers next to the practice field. So, that's been an experience too. But again, no matter what the situation's been, whether it's been meeting in different locations, meeting in smaller groups, meeting in larger spaces, so that we could spread out more, but lose the intimacy of a close meeting and that close communication and interaction that we would normally have. They've been different, but again, everybody's tried to adapt and adjust and just trying to figure out how to get the most out of each opportunity. And I know that our players and our coaches and other staff members have all come through with suggestions about, why don't we try it this way, or instead of doing it this way, why don't we do it that way? And we've adapted and taken a lot of those suggestions to try to make things more efficient, safer, and just the overall, smoother logistically. So we're learning as we go, but I think that we're trying to be as productive as we possibly can, and that process keeps getting better, but it's certainly different, yeah.
Time now for the Patriot Twitter question of the week, and it comes from @MDBots. Wants to ask Coach Belichick about punts. The actual punt numbers, attempts are down across the board through 5 weeks. Coach, what do you think that's attributed to?
Yeah, that's a good question, Scott. I think after 4 or 5 weeks is a little too early to draw too many conclusions. A lot of those situations where teams will run an offensive play on 4th down instead of giving the ball up. Some of those are situational plays, and they're based on game circumstances. But overall, I think that's probably where more of it's happened, is just teams being more aggressive on 4th down, and whether that's because of the field position, the confidence they have in their offense, or game situations, probably a combination of all those. But it'll be interesting to see if those numbers hold up throughout the course of the year, and when the weather changes a little bit, when the circumstances are a little bit different, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
All right, good stuff, Coach. Wish you a healthy, happy week, and I know you got a lot more stuff to get ready for Denver. Got them coming in here at home next Sunday, so good luck. Go get them.
Yeah, appreciate it, Scott. Thank you. We'll be grinding all week.
Thanks a lot, Coach Belichick. Coming up, more Patriots All Access. We'll return right after this.
Coming up on All Access.
Coach Belichick spotlights the Denver Broncos skill players on the Belestrator.
You can just see Judy's quickness here. You probably saw it at Alabama, watching him in some of those college games.
Stands, looks, fires right, caught, down inside the 1, touchdown.
But first, a memorable moment that propelled Bill Belichick to his first win as the Patriots head coach.
This game, ball goes to this guy over
here. You're watching Patriots All Access.
Patriots All Access is brought to you by Pepsi. That's what I like. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New England Patriots. By the Dan O'Brien Auto Group. Come into any Dan O'Brien Auto Group store today and get your awesome protection plan, keeping it awesome. And by Bank of America, official bank of the New England Patriots.
Richard Seymour was selected 6th overall in the 2001 draft out of the University of Georgia. Some at the time questioned the selection of a defensive lineman instead of a receiver. On a very good defense, Seymour may have been the best player on that unit. and a major contributor to 3 Super Bowl victories in 4 seasons. Seymour went to 5 straight Pro Bowls during one stretch of his Patriots career, and is a member of the NFL's All-Decade Team of the 2000s.
Welcome back to All Access, presented by GEICO. It took a little longer than some expected, but this past spring, Richard Seymour was rightly voted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Canton should be calling in the very near future for one of the great Patriots of all time. Today, we go into the vault to explore one of Seymour's post-playing hobbies, poker, where we follow this gentle giant on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome to the Seminole Hard Rock Casino for the season finale of the World Poker Tour. This is a $10,000 buy-in event. Players, thanks for your support all season long on the World Poker Tour. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck.
Poker's a really fascinating game. It demands so much of you. It's a game of people, situations, discipline, and I felt like I, honed in on all of those skills as I played. And you have to do everything in the big moments as well. So, like, you see some players, like, the bigger the moment gets, they kind of shrink in the moment. Well, I'm comfortable in the moment. I enjoy the moment. It's like, hey, coach, put me in.
Coach, great. Congratulations. Oh, thank you.
Richard Seymour was drafted number 6 overall by the Patriots in the 2001 NFL Draft. As a rookie, Seymour was a key player on the Patriots defense, and he turned in a dominant performance against the Rams in Super Bowl 36.
Here's the rush, and he's going to be sacked.
Seymour played 8 of his 12 years in the NFL with the Patriots. He was selected to the Pro Bowl 5 times and is a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yes, it's a dynasty.
Today, in his life after football, Seymour scratches his competitive itch by competing in the World Poker Tour.
My dad played when I was growing up, and so he taught me the game, like just the fundamentals. Like, you think sometimes, hey, okay, it's just cards, like your cards against my cards, but it's a real fundamental and a mental side of poker. But I remember being at the table, and I had some solid cards, but I just remember the moment where, like, my heartbeat was beating faster, like, I was just watching the guys around me. Like, it was a really intense moment. And I said, you know what? I enjoy this. That was the moment where I was like, you know what? I know this is what I want to do. I've met a lot of really interesting people playing poker, from, business guys, multimillionaires, down to, gangsters. It's the gambit. But that's life. Like, if I played LeBron James in basketball, he'll beat me 10 out of 10 times. But if I played the best poker player in the world, just because of the variance of some of the cards, the best poker player wouldn't beat me 10 out of 10 times. I want to work hard, I want to study the craft, I want to learn from the best. Like, I think I'm doing the work, I'm learning the craft, and at the same time, I'm enjoying the journeys. And my wife says it's okay too, so that helps. I'm truly enjoying life. I have a great family with me and my wife have 5 kids, which is always something new. It's never a dull moment in the house. But before I go, I got to give you my poker look as well. Like, got to make sure the glass is clean. And so this is the laughing and giggling, and then
On October 1, in the year 2000, New England traveled to one of their personal houses of horror, the new Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado.
Stands, looks, fires right, caught, down inside the 1, touchdown to Troy Brown.
Behind 4 Drew Bledsoe touchdown passes, including 2 to Troy Brown,
25, cutting left, 20, 15, he's at the 10, at the 5, and he's in. His second touchdown of the ball game.
the Patriots beat the Broncos 28-19 to capture their first win of the season. It also happened to be Bill Belichick's first win as the Patriots head coach.
This game, ball goes to this guy over here.
Welcome back to All Access presented by GEICO. The opponent hasn't changed, so for those who missed it, we present an encore abbreviated version of the Belestrator, where Coach Belichick highlights the Denver skill position players.
A lot of talent on this Denver team, especially at the top of the draft last several years, stockpiling some talent offensively. What are we going to take a look at here?
Well, we can go right down the line here. Quarterback Locke, second round pick last year. Gordon, high first round pick in 15 with the Chargers. Lindsey's a free agent. He's a local kid from Colorado who's already been to the Pro Bowl. He's an excellent player that probably a lot of fans might not be very familiar with. Font was a first round pick last year, tight end from Iowa, very fast, explosive player. And then this year they picked up Judy and Hamler, two fast and explosive players at wide receiver. We'll take a look at this group. His first play is this is Locke at quarterback and Judy's in the slot. Judy generally plays inside and Hamler plays outside, but they can move around a little bit. You can just see Judy's quickness here. You probably saw it at Alabama watching him in some of those college games. But he's has a lot of short area quickness. He has big time speed, and he can separate and get open, reach out, catch the ball, and now's when the fun starts, is just tackling. So looks like the Titans here have him pretty well leveraged, and he's in of it, he's out of it, and it was an extra 15 yards there. So really an explosive player.
All right, moving on here.
Yeah, so this is Font, the tight end, and again, first round pick for him last year. This is another fast and explosive player. You can see on this play how quickly he gets into the secondary. Creates some separation there on the scissors route, and ball's right on the money. Easy touchdown against the Steelers. And this is a good look at Gordon. Number 25. Again, we've seen him from San Diego, but this is, with 2 minutes ago in the Jets game, and the Broncos have a lead, and they, are trying to control the clock here at the end of the game, and just watch Gordon bounce it out. This is Rippey, the quarterback, getting out ahead, kind of like Russell Wilson does for the Seahawks, and gets in the way of the corner here. But really a good run by Gordon. And you can see he's got the speed to go the distance. So, big, strong kid with, good feet, good ability to make people miss in space, and that home run speed. He's a powerful guy, pick up a yard or two if he needs it. So, it's a very, very talented group offensively in terms of their skill players.
All right, Coach. Great stuff. Good luck this week against the Broncos. Good to be home, and we'll chat again next week.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, there's your Belestrator. More Patriots All Access. We'll be back right after this.
Patriots All Access is brought to you by Pepsi. That's what I like. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New England Patriots. And by Putnam Investments. Putnam Investments and the New England Patriots. Proud partners committed to an active game plan on the field and off.
Welcome back to Patriots All Access and our Bob's Just Conferential Studios. Back with the guys, Paul Perillo and Mike Reiston. It's a blessing in disguise. Patriots haven't played in 2 weeks. This could help this football team, can it?
Well, certainly from a personnel standpoint, I think you have a chance, as we already mentioned, to get some guys back. But you know what? Maybe that bye week, it wasn't conventional, Mike, but it does give you a chance maybe to reset a little bit and figure out some of the things you're doing well, some of the things you might want to get some work on, and do a little bit of a quick self-scout.
I think it's a big-time blessing in disguise, and I'll just narrow it right down to the quarterback spot.
Absolutely.
The fact that Cam Newton has a better chance to play in the game than he did last week, and you see the difference he makes for them, that's huge blessing in disguise.
Let's look at this football team as a whole. Areas of strength. Let's start there.
Yeah, I look at some different things, but the offensive line to me really stood out. We know they want to run the ball, Mike, but you can't really do that if you don't dominate up front. And I think in 4 football games, they've pretty much owned the line of scrimmage offensively. And I think as long as you can do that, that has to be considered a huge area of strength.
On the other side, how about the secondary? The way they defended the Chiefs, I thought the depth of the secondary, to me, if they want to get where they want to go, Kansas City is still the team that you got to match up with, in my opinion. And I think if they can look at that and say, if we have Cam at quarterback and can get that secondary playing the way it played, maybe they have a good chance to do that.
6 points at the half. Good point by you. Areas of concern, Paul.
Yeah, there's a few of those, too. I would start first and foremost with the passing game offensively. I think you need, I talked about how well they've been able to run the ball, but it's hard to score a lot of points doing that. You need to find ways to throw the football and throw it successfully down the field a little bit and get in the end zone, put some points on the board. I think that's still an area of concern. Really, Mike, no presence at tight end at all, especially in the passing game.
That's last year they were last in the NFL in targets and receptions from tight ends. This year, last in the NFL.
But is that part of the game plan?
No, I think it's more personnel-based, Steve. I think they got the 2 rookie tight ends, Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene, and it's just asking a lot of them in this type of year to come in and be productive, and Ryan Izzo, the top tight end.
Yeah.
So I think, Paul, that's a great point. I'm going to say defensive tackle. You got Lawrence Guy, who's playing very well, and after that, they might have to call guys up from the practice squad because Byron Cowart's out on the COVID reserve list. You got more depth problems with other guys hurting there. So to me, that's a spot to watch.
Mike, you mentioned the tight end. Paul, I'm going to start with you. They didn't get much out of the position last year. How long can they go without getting much out of the position this year at tight end?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I do think it's a spot, Mike, that they feel is important to the offense. It's been a big part of the team for a lot of years, and they're really not getting a lot of production. I think Devin Asiasi, he's been out there, he's gotten his feet wet, he hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities, and I think they have to find out, Mike. Throw the ball to him every once in a while. Get Dalton Keene. He's been a healthy scratch the last couple of weeks. Get him active. Get these guys out there, see what they have. I would hate to see them go the whole year without seeing if these guys can produce.
I love that point that Paul made because we're through 4 games. And to me, I'm going to say, Devin Asiasi, that was your preseason that you would have got in a normal year. Now let's see what you can do. I'm not convinced they won't get more out of the position, specifically with Devin Asiasi.
Is there a passing of the baton when it comes to running back? Has Damian Harris taken over?
Yeah, I do think he's going to get every opportunity to do that. We were impressed with him a little bit, Mike, in training camp. I think his first impression, as the full-time guy in Kansas City was a pretty positive one. I thought he ran well. I don't think it was perfect. The big run sort of made it look great. I think he was good. I think it was a good, solid start. I think he's going to get every chance now. Sony Michel's got to miss a couple more games on IR. I think it'll be Harris's job to lose.
When I see Harris, I see fresh legs. A guy that didn't play much last year, was very productive in college at Alabama, and is just sort of getting started. And I think they're intrigued, Steve, that they want to see more. So I think right now, the baton is clearly in his hands.
Denver, prediction. You going to change it from a week ago?
Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to lose now, after all of this. I really think this is a game that they create some. This might be one of those old-school Patriots defense, creates a lot of havoc for young quarterbacks, whoever they are for Denver. If it's Brett Rippon, if it's Drew Lock, they're still young and inexperienced. I think there's too many turnovers. 33-13 Patriots.
That big?
Yeah, big.
And I'm going to change it because I'm going to give the Patriots a wider margin of victory. Last week, I think it was 24-13. This week, I'll say 30-13 Patriots win it.
I convinced them.
Okay, there you go. Great job as usual. That'll do it for this week's edition of Patriots All Access. For Mike Reis and Paul Perillo, I'm Steve Burton. Have a great week, everybody. See you later.